Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for this call to compassion offered by the National Cathedral to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the September 11th tragedies. Obviously, we're not in the cathedral tonight because of recent damage following the earthquake and the hurricane. The building is temporarily closed, but rest assured, this angel, which stands before us, will be returned to its proper place soon. I want to thank the Kennedy Center for kindly making this concert hall available for all of us tonight, and I want to introduce you to Sam Lloyd, the Dean of the National Cathedral.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this very special evening, and thank you, Anderson. On behalf of the Washington National Cathedral, I want to welcome you to this culminating event in what has been for us a weekend-long commemoration of 9/11. 3 days after the first 9/11, the cathedral, in its role as the nation's church, hosted a national service of prayer and remembrance. Now, 10 years later, we're pleased to welcome once again the President of the United States and viewers from across the country to this concert for hope. Tonight, we will not only honor those who died and who served so heroically, but we will turn our thoughts to building together a world where such terrible events no longer occur. I wish we were gathering this evening under the soaring arches of the cathedral, but we have made every attempt to transform this beautiful concert hall into something very close to a sacred space. Thank you for joining us this evening, and God bless you all.
Three days after the attacks on September 14th, 2001, President George W. Bush made the following remarks in the National Cathedral. Now come the names, the list of casualties. They are the names of men and women who began their day at a desk or in an airport, busy with life. They are the names of people who faced death and in their last moments called home to say, "Be brave, I love you." They are the names of passengers who defied their murderers and prevented the murder of others on the ground. They are the names of men and women who wore the uniform of the United States and died at their posts. They are the names of rescuers, the ones whom death found running up the stairs and into the fires to help others.
Ladies and gentlemen, multiple Grammy Award winner, Alan Jackson.
Where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day? Were you in the arms with your wife and children working on some stage in L.A.? Did you stand there in shock at the sight of that black smoke rising up against that blue sky? Did you shout out in anger and fear for your neighbor? Or did you just sit down and cry? Did you weep for the children who lost their dear loved ones? Pray for the ones who don't know? Did you rejoice for the people who walk from the rubble? Sob for the ones left below? Did you burst out with pride for the red, white, and blue? The heroes who died just doing what they do? Did you look up to heaven for some kind of answer? and look at yourself and what really matters. I'm just a singer of simple songs. I'm not a real political man. I watch CNN, but I'm not sure I can tell you the difference in Iraq and Iran. But I know Jesus and I talk to God, and I remember this from when I was young. Faith, hope, and love are some good things He gave us. The greatest is love. And where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day? Teaching a class full of innocent children, driving down some cold interstate. Did you feel guilty? 'Cause you're a survivor. In a crowded room, did you feel alone? Did you call up your mother and tell her you loved her? Did you dust off that Bible at home? Did you open your eyes? Hope it never happened. Close your eyes and not go to sleep. Did you notice the sunset? First time in ages. Speak to some stranger on the street. Did you lay down at night and think of tomorrow? Go out and buy you a gun. Did you turn off that violent old movie you're watching? Turn on Out of Lucy reruns. Did you go to a church, hold hands with some stranger, stand in line and give your own blood? Did you just stay home and cling tight to your family? Thank God you had somebody to love. I'm just a singer of simple songs. I'm not a real political man. Watch CNN, but I'm not sure I can tell you the difference in Iraq and Iran. But I know Jesus and I talk to God, and I remember this from when I was young. Faith, hope, and love are some good things He gave us. The greatest is love. The greatest is love. Greatest is love. Where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day?
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Barack Obama.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The Bible tells us, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. 10 years ago, America confronted one of our darkest nights. Mighty towers crumbled, black smoke billowed up from the Pentagon. Airplane wreckage smoldered on a Pennsylvania field. Friends and neighbors, sisters and brothers, mothers and fathers, sons and daughters They were taken from us with a heartbreaking swiftness and cruelty. And on September 12th, 2001, we awoke to a world in which evil was closer at hand and uncertainty clouded our future. And in the decades since, much has changed for Americans. We've known war and recession, passionate debates and political divides. We can never get back the lives that were lost on that day or the Americans who made the ultimate sacrifice in the wars that followed. And yet, today it is worth remembering what has not changed. Our character as a nation has not changed. Our faith in God and in each other, that has not changed. Our belief in America, born of a timeless ideal that men and women should govern themselves, that all people are created equal and deserve the same freedom to determine their own destiny, that belief, through tests and trials, has only been strengthened. These past 10 years have shown that America does not give in to fear. The rescue workers who rushed to the scene, the firefighters who charged up the stairs, the passengers who stormed the cockpit, these patriots define the very nature of courage. Over the years, we've also seen a more quiet form of heroism. In the ladder company that lost so many men and still suits up and saves lives every day. The businesses that have been rebuilt from nothing, the burn victim who's bounced back, the families who press on. Now, last spring, I received a letter from a woman named Suzanne Swain. She had lost her husband and brother in the Twin Towers and said that she had been robbed of so many would-be proud moments where a father watches their child graduate or tend a goal in a lacrosse game or succeed academically. But her daughters are in college, the other doing well in high school. It has been 10 years of raising these girls on my own, Suzanne wrote. I could not be prouder of their strength and resilience. That spirit typifies our American family. And the hopeful future for those girls is the ultimate rebuke to the hateful killers who took the life of their father. These past 10 years have shown America's resolve to defend its citizens and our way of life. Diplomats serve in far-off posts, and intelligence professionals work tirelessly without recognition. 2 million Americans have gone to war since 9/11. They've demonstrated that those who do us harm cannot hide from the reach of justice anywhere in the world. America has been defended not by conscripts, but by citizens who choose to serve. Young people who signed up straight out of high school, guardsmen and reservists, workers and business people, immigrants, and fourth-generation soldiers. They are men and women who left behind lives of comfort for 2, 3, 4, 5 tours of duty. Too many will never come home. Those that do carry dark memories from distant places and the legacy of fallen friends. The sacrifices of these men and women and of our military families reminds us that the wages of war are great, and that while service to our nation is full of glory, war itself is never glorious. Our troops have been to lands unknown to many Americans a decade ago, to Kandahar and Kabul, to Mosul and Basra. But our strength is not measured in our ability to stay in these places. It comes from our commitment to leave those lands to free people and sovereign states, and our desire to move from a decade of war to a future of peace. These 10 years have shown that we hold fast to our freedoms. Yes, we're more vigilant against those who threaten us, and there are inconveniences that come with our common defense. Debates about war and peace, about security and civil liberties have often been fierce these last 10 years, but it is precisely the rigor of these debates and our ability to resolve them in a way that honors our values and our democracy that is the measure of our strength. Meanwhile, our open markets still provide innovators a chance to create and succeed. Our citizens are still free to speak their minds, and our souls are enriched in churches and temples, our synagogues and our mosques. These past 10 years underscores the bonds between all Americans. We have not succumbed to suspicion, nor have we succumbed to mistrust. After 9/11, to his great credit, President Bush made clear what we reaffirm today: the United States will never wage war against Islam or any other religion. Immigrants come here from all parts of the globe, and in the biggest cities and the smallest towns, in schools and workplaces, you still see people of every conceivable race and religion and ethnicity, all of them pledging allegiance to the flag, all of them reaching for the same American dream. E pluribus unum. Out of many, we are one. These past 10 years tell a story of our resilience. The Pentagon is repaired and filled with patriots working in common purpose. Shanksville is the scene of friendships forged between residents of that town and families who lost loved ones there. New York remains the most vibrant of capitals of arts and industry and fashion and commerce. Where the World Trade Center once stood, the sun glistens off a new tower that reaches towards the sky. Our people still work in skyscrapers. Our stadiums are still filled with fans, and our parks full of children playing ball. Our airports hum with travel, and our buses and subways take millions where they need to go. And families sit down to Sunday dinner, and students prepare for school. This land pulses with the optimism of those who set out for distant shores and the courage of those who died for human freedom. Decades from now, Americans will visit the memorials to those who were lost on 9/11. They'll run their fingers over the places where the names of those we loved are carved into marble and stone, and they may wonder at the lives that they led. And standing before the white headstones in Arlington and in peaceful cemeteries and small town squares in every corner of the country, they will pay respects to those lost in Iraq and Afghanistan. They'll see the names of the fallen on bridges and statues, at gardens and schools, and they will know that nothing can break the will of a truly united states of America. They will remember that we've overcome slavery and civil war. We've overcome breadlines and fascism and recession and riots and communism and, yes, terrorism. They will be reminded that we are not perfect, but our democracy is durable. And that democracy, reflecting as it does the imperfections of man, also give us the opportunity to perfect our union. That is what we honor on days of national commemoration. Those aspects of the American experience that are enduring, and the determination to move forward as one people. More than monuments, that will be the legacy of 9/11. A legacy of firefighters who walked into fire and soldiers who signed up to serve, of workers who raised new towers and citizens who face down their private fears. Most of all, of children who realize the dreams of their parents. It will be said that we kept the faith, that we took a painful blow, and we emerged stronger than before. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. With a just God as our guide, let us honor those who've been lost. Let us rededicate ourselves to the ideals that define our nation, and let us look to the future with hearts full of hope. May God bless the memory of those we lost, and may God bless the United States of America.
I was in the middle of a beach vacation with my family. It was a beautiful, cloudless day. People were gathered around the lifeguard stand, and we went to see what was going on. The lifeguard said a plane had hit the Twin Towers in New York City.
The entire building shook when the plane flew over us, the one that hit the Pentagon. And the smoke arose in view. The Pentagon, where families worked, people we knew.
My neighbor across the street told me a plane had just gone into the World Trade Center, and it was bad. She was a college friend of Todd and Lisa Beamer. Little did she know at that moment what was happening to Todd and his fellow passengers in the skies over Pennsylvania.
Today, we've had a national tragedy. Two airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
Honor is putting your actions where your heart and your mouth are, as far as what you believe in doing and what you believe is right. And I think everybody has honor in them. It just has to come out at the right time.
You saw a lot of that demonstrated right at Ground Zero. You know, the immediate aftermath, people rushing into the buildings, you know, seeing reading the stories and seeing the footage of people rushing in to help.
The people that were there because they came there deliberately, the people that were running in when everybody else was running out, that's a lifetime commitment.
Honor means a whole lot to a fireman. Caring, pouring out your heart to help people.
Because of the events and things that happened on 9/11, you want to honor the sacrifice and the commitment that those guys laid down that day, the ultimate sacrifice.
9/11 definitely reminded us that freedom is fragile and that it does take a group of brave and dedicated soldiers to help defend that.
Ladies and gentlemen, widow of Neil Levin, Director of Port Authority, New York, New Jersey, lost in the North Tower, Christy Ferrer.
Approximately 2/3 of the victims died on the upper floors, near or above where the planes hit, the top 19 floors of the North Tower and the top 33 floors of the South Tower. I quote from British journalist Ian McEwan. "The tower was burning around her, and she was speaking on her mobile phone. She was calling to say goodbye. There was really only one thing for her to say. Those 3 words that all the terrible art, that all the worst pop songs and movies, the most seductive lies can somehow never cheapen. those 3 words, I love you. She said it over and over again before the line went dead. And that is what they were all saying down their phones, from the hijacked planes, from the burning towers. Love was all they had to set against the hatred of their murderers.
Ladies and gentlemen, multiple Grammy Award winner, Patti LaBelle.
We are all 2 steps away from happiness, 2 steps away from loving our neighbor, black, white, straight, or gay. We gotta think. It's hard to see the fear inside as I walk away from you. Distance overcomes the miles as slowly we'll pull through. And I cannot reach the world today 'cause I'm suffering for you. And the more I think, cry and we too, as I walk away from you, I'm 2 steps away from loneliness. I'm awake from the mess they made. I'm alive and I'm feeling complete. Oh, said I don't understand my life sometimes. Or the destiny that chose you. And the warring hearts and winter came. Now there's nothing left to do. Oh, but I cannot reach the world today because I'm suffering for you. And the more I think, the more
Well, I think we started to heal right away. The country became one. We were united. Our old traditions and our old morality came back, it seemed.
On a tragic day like that, everyone just stops what they're doing and they remember, you know, they are an American. And I really feel like America pulled itself together and came together. It was a sad time, but I was so proud to be an American.
When 9/11 occurred, it was just amazing how people came together. All religions, nationalities, everybody stood strong. Everybody was determined to get this country back to where it needed to be.
During September 11th, there's, you know, like a National Day of Service. So I think that's a good place to start where, you know, every person has something to give and, you know, in your own way, whether it be big or small.
We're here today to educate the kids or the Girl Scouts so they will remember 9/11 and pass it on from generation to generation.
I think there's still a lot of fear in the country. I think that event brought about a lot of fear in many people, and I think we're still seeing the effects of that. And I don't know, you know, when that's going to change, but I'm hopeful that the healing will take place. I think it is gradually taking place, but I think as a nation collectively, I think some people have you know, moved on, but I don't know if we've all together come to a point where we can say we've collectively healed.
I think our country definitely has been healing. It's been a decade since. We're not close to being completely over it, and we never will be. It was a very tragic day for our nation.
Part of our healing process is feeling safe, and I think that's why a lot of Americans have been putting more pride into politics and voting and stuff like that. And I think that although the tragedy is over, we'll move on, but we'll never forget. And I think that's a part of the healing process for 9/11.
Do you have any idea what it's like trying to go on stage after Miss Patti LaBelle has just performed? These are the words of the Reverend Joseph Griesdeek, who's an Episcopal priest in Manhattan who volunteered at Ground Zero. And then another rescue worker said to me, "Father, we need you over here." And I went over to where the rescue worker called me, and he said, "We need you to bless the buckets." I didn't know what he was talking about until the first bucket was put under my nose. As I looked deeper into the bucket, I was convinced of a truth that I had always paid lip service to, but now knew was undeniable and as real as it gets, that we are all one. It doesn't matter what our race, creed, gender, or background happens to be. We are all one. We live together. Ultimately, we die together.
Magdalene.
Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Pentagon Memorial Fund, Jim Lachak, who lost his brother Dave in the Pentagon.
As we commemorate that fateful September here in the United States, we must remember that citizens of more than 90 nations perished that day. They came to build better lives for themselves, their children, their loved ones. They were members of many races and many religions. Monsignor Lorenzo Albacete wrote, "Here there were Jews, Christians, Buddhists, Muslims, atheists. There were rich, there were poor, there were CEOs, there were waiters, there were newlyweds, there were widowers. It was humanity, an affirmation of human dreams, of human ambition, of human desire, of the hope of human progress."
I think there's a lot of hope that the world will continue to come together and focus on, what needs to be done to bring all religious faiths and all nations together.
I think America is the beacon of hope. It doesn't have to be 9/11, although I think, that's probably one of the best examples. Americans always are full of heart and will do whatever they can to help people all around the world.
After the attack on Pearl Harbor and the United States got involved in World War II, I think that was a very difficult time for our country, and prosperity came from that. And now, as we move on from 9/11, I think that as we come to a greater understanding and appreciation of one another and of different cultures, the same will be true.
We have a hopeful future, and we have people who are willing to talk to different people and learn about different ways of life, and I think the future looks pretty good.
Hope really is about being sure of what you want, but not certain of what you see. So even though we might not be seeing it now, there's definitely a chance of it in the future. And we just got to keep holding out and fighting for that.
I think our next step is understanding, and I think we're trying to understand why it happened and how can we fix it and how can we move on and how can we make peace with the Middle Eastern countries and just be better people.
Some people say that people from different cultures are not like us and stuff, but they are like us. They're people just like we are.
I just see the people of all nationalities, people of all race, creed, and color coming together and just hoping that the world does find peace and prosperity for all.
Hope to me is like wishing for something. When I grow up, I want there to be no wars. I want them to straighten it out.
Whatever race, religion, gender, we're all here for a short period of time, so let's all just come together and move forward.
These are the words of the Dalai Lama. No matter what part of the world we come from, we are all basically the same human beings. We all seek happiness and try to avoid suffering. The problems we face today, violent conflicts, destruction of nature, poverty, hunger, and so on, are human-created problems which can be resolved through human effort, understanding, and a development of a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood. We need to cultivate a universal responsibility for one another and the planet we share. Although I found my own Buddhist religion helpful in generating love and compassion, even for those we consider our enemies, I'm convinced that everyone can develop a good heart and a sense of universal responsibility with or without religion. The National Cathedral's concert, A Call to Compassion, concludes with international opera star Denyce Graves, singing Amazing Grace.
Ladies and gentlemen, mezzo-soprano and cultural ambassador for the United States, Denyce Graves. Thank you for being part of a call to compassion offered by the National Cathedral. Good night.